The first part deals with Al-Kalam or speech. And Ibn Ajrum says, Al-Kalamu huwa al-lafdhu al-murakkabu al-mufidu bil-wad'i. So let's understand this sentence. Al-Kalam or speech in Arabic. How do we define speech? Huwa al-lafdhu al-murakkab. It is an arranged sentence, a group of words which are connected together, murakkab, al-mufidu, and it is meaningful, bil-wad'i, and it follows the rules of the Arabic language. So if it is just a bunch of words with no particular arrangement and no clear meaning, then it is not considered as speech in Arabic. If I say, Ja'a baytun Muhammadun, the sentence does not make any sense because it is not murakkab or arranged meaningfully. It is not mufid. So that is not kalam in Arabic. But if I say, Ja'a Muhammadun ilal bayt, that is a complete meaningful sentence. Now, kalam does not always have to be a group of words. It can be a single word sometimes, given that it conveys the complete meaning as required. If I say, for example, kum, which is the command to stand up, the sentence is meaningful even though if it is a single word. So in this case, words like kum, ijlis, idhab, all these are considered as al-kalam. وأقسامه ثلاثة اسم وفعل وحرف جاء لمعنى. Now all speech in Arabic, this is very important. All speech in Arabic, it is divided into these three things. If it is Arabic, then every word has to be one of these three things. It is either an ism or a noun, or it is a fi'l or a verb, or it is a harf, a particle. There is no element in Arabic which is outside these three things. And this is the first rule we need to apply when we are determining the i'rab of something, because it greatly simplifies the process of identifying the i'rab. And we will look at a few examples to understand why it is so. Now we have the sentence, قَدْ ذَهَبَ الْوَلَدُ إِلَى الْبَيْتِ. So the first one is a harf. It is قَدْ. ذَهَبَ is a verb. Al-waladu is a noun. Ila is again harf. And bayt is again noun. So why do we need to do this classification? Because the i'rab of the harf is always fixed. It does not change with its position in the sentence. So we know that qad is always going to be qad. So we can eliminate this word from the analysis of i'rab. Dhahaba is a past tense verb. And as we are going to learn inshallah, the past tense verbs are always mabni on the fatha, or they have fixed word endings. It always ends with the fatha. Al-waladu is the noun. So the noun is mu'rab, or it has a specific i'rab and word ending depending on its role in the sentence. So here it is the fa'il and therefore it is marfu'. Ila is again a harf, so it is fixed. Al-bayt is another noun, and here it is the jar and majroor. So bayt takes the kasra as it is in the state of khafd or jar. So as we did this classification into nouns, verbs and particles, practically we need to identify the i'rab only for two words in the sentence, al-waladu and bayt, because the remaining are fixed. So this is how this classification simplifies the process of i'rab. And therefore this chapter of types of speech, even though it's very simple, it is very important to understand it correctly so you can determine the i'rab of sentences easily, inshallah. But how do you determine nouns, verbs and particles? You might think it is very straightforward. You know that qad is a harf, dhahaba is a verb, walad is a noun. It looks very simple. Jalasa Muhammadun fil masjid. Again, all the words are very clear. Jalasa is a past tense verb, Muhammad is a noun, fi is a harf, and masjid is again a noun. But sometimes the sentence can be slightly more complicated, and this is what confuses a lot of beginners. For example, if we say Muhammadun jalisun fil bayt, what is the i'rab of jalisun? Is it a verb or is it a noun? So this is something that can get confusing for beginners especially. So this is where the rules Ibn Ajrum is going to give us are going to be very helpful. If you have any confusion regarding a word in a sentence, you can apply these very simple rules to identify whether it is a noun, verb, or harf. What are these rules? فَالْإِسْمُ يُعْرَفُ بِالْخَفْضِ. The first rule, if any of these conditions are met, then the word is an ism. The first condition is that if it takes khafd or the state of khafd, then it has to be a noun, because the verb never takes the state of khafd. It can be yadhabu, yadhaba, or yadhab. It can take rafa, nasab, or jazm. It will never be yadhabi with a kasra, or it will never take the state of khafd. So if you see that the word is taking the state of khafd, you know automatically that it is an ism. Raja'tu ila al-bayti. So bayti here is in the state of khafd and it takes the kasra. So you know that bayt is a noun. The second condition is the tanween. If the word can accept the tanween, then it is again a noun, because the verbs never ever accept the tanween. If you look at this sentence, for example, Muhammadun jalisun fil bayt. So jalisun, here it accepts the tanween. So we know it is not a verb and it is a noun. Muhammadun is a proper noun. Another condition is the dukhul al-alifi wal-lam. The alif lam, if it can be added to this word, then again it is a noun, because the verb never accepts the alif lam. Al-bayt is a noun because it has the alif lam. Wa huruf al-khafdi. And what are the particles which give the state of khafd? If any of these particles come before the word and it gives it the state of khafd, then you can be sure it is a noun. These particles are min, wa ila, wa an, wa ala, wa fi, wa rubba, wal ba, wal kafu, wal lamu, wa huruf al qasam. The particles of the oath. Wa hiya al wawu, wal ba'u, wa ta. So when you say wallahi, billahi, tallahi, it is the particle of oath or qasam, and it gives it the state of jar. As for the fi'l, والفعل يعرف بقد والسين وسوف والتاء وتاء التأنيث الساكنة. It is known by the entry of the particle qad. If the qad comes before the word, we know that it is a verb. قد أذهب إلى البيت. قد رجعت من المسجد. So the word after qad is a verb. You can't say قد محمد or قد بيت or qad masjidun. Does not make sense. So qad is an indicator of the verb. The next indicator is the seen, or the seen which is used to show the future tense. If I say sa'adhabu, sa'ajlisu, sa'aqumu, all these are verbs, because the seen cannot be joined with a verb. Similarly, we have sawfa, which is also used to show the future tense. سوف أذهب إلى البيت. سوف أصلي في المسجد. Then finally we have the ta التأنيث الساكنة. This is the ta which shows the feminine form of the verb. If I say jalasat, jalasa, you can add this ta and make it feminine and say jalasat. ذهبت, قامت, بكت. You can't do this to the noun. You can't add the ta ta'nis as-sakina to the end of the verb to make it feminine. So this is the final indicator of the verb. And for the harf, we simply use the process of elimination. Wal harfu ma la يصلح معه دليل الاسم ولا دليل الفعل. So if none of these principles can be applied to the word, then it has to be a harf. What is not a noun nor a verb, it is definitely a harf, because as we learned, there are only 3 types of speech in Arabic. These are the noun, the verb, and the harf or the particle. Let's look at some examples for the rules we just learned. قد أذهب إلى المدرسة. So أذهب is a verb because the qad is applied to it. Al-madrasa is a noun because it is in the state of khafd. It has the alif lam. So this indicates the noun. سأقرأ الكتاب. Again we have the scene of the future tense, which marks this word out as a verb. سوف أنام مبكرا. سوف, another indicator of the verb.